Hey, third graders, it's Miss Moran here, and I am going to be teaching you this week's lessons. This week, we're going to be focusing on literary elements. Can you guys say that? Literary elements. Literary elements has a couple different components in it. First, characters. Second, the setting where the story takes place and when the story takes place. And then we have the events that happened in the story. This is called the plot. So we have character, setting, and plot. So as I'm reading you this story today called Kumaks Fish, I want you to be thinking about who the characters are, what the setting of the story is, and what's happening in the story. Think about those transition words, first, next, then, and last. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Kumaks Fish. On a beautiful Arctic morning, Kumak looked out of the window of his house. Through the willows, he could see the sun rising over the frozen river. Ah, spring, said Kumak to his family. The days are long, the nights are short, and the ice is still hard. Good day for fish. Good day for fish, said Kumak's wife, pulling on her warm parka. Good day for fish, said his wife's mother, pulling on her warm mukluks. Good day for fish, said his sons and daughters, pulling on their warm beaver hats and fur-lined gloves. Kumak packed his fishing gear on his sled. He packed his wife on the sled. He packed his wife's mother on the sled. He packed his sons and daughters on the sled. And then, in the safest place of all, Kumak packed his Uncle Aglu's amazing hooking stick. Everyone in the village knew of Uncle Aglu's amazing hooking stick. Uncle Aglu had carved it many years ago out of a piece of fine willow, and each spring he caught more fish than anyone in the village. But this spring, Uncle Aglu's legs were stiff. He told Kumak to use the amazing hooking stick. This was Kumak's lucky day. When they reached the great frozen lake past the mouth of the river, Kumak's family dug their fishing holes and sat down to wait. Kumak and his family sat for a long time. They were quiet, they were patient, they scooped away the ice growing around their fishing holes. Just as the sun was starting to turn down for the day, Kumak's oldest son caught a fish. Then Kumak's two daughters each caught a fish. Soon his wife and his wife's mother each caught a fish. Good day for fish, they said. Kumak was quiet. He was patient. He scooped away the ice growing around his fishing pole. Suddenly, Uncle Aglu's amazing hooking stick began to twitch. It twitched this way, it twitched that way, and around and around. It gave one more twitch, then yanked Kumak toward the fishing hole. What a big fish, said Kumak's wife. Biggest I can remember, said his wife's mother. The biggest fish ever, said his sons and daughters. They danced with joy, thinking about the happy faces of the villagers when they brought the fish home. Just then Kumak began to twitch. He twitched this way, he twitched that way, he went around and around. Kumak gave one more twitch and slid headfirst toward the fishing hole and the icy water below. Wife, help me pull this fish. Kumak's wife grabbed him around the waist, and together they took 2 steps back. That fish must be as big as a seal, yelled Kumak happily. Anna, help me pull this fish. His wife's mother ran to help. She took hold of Kumak's wife, and together they took 3 steps back. That fish must be as big as a walrus, yelled Kumak happily. Children, help me pull this fish. His sons and daughters ran to help. They lined up, one behind the other, and never let go. Together they took 6 more steps. but the stick pulled them all the way back to the edge of the hole. "That fish must be as big as a whale," yelled Kumak happily. Villagers on their way home heard Kumak's shouts and ran to help. They lined up behind Kumak's family, and holding on tight to the person in front of them, they pulled and pulled. But no matter how many steps they took away from the hole, they always ended up back where they started. Soon the whole village heard about Kumak's fish and came to help. In one long line stretching across the frozen lake, they pulled and pulled and pulled. Once again, Uncle Agloo's amazing hooking stick began to twitch. It twitched this way, and all the people of the village twitched this way. It twitched that way, and all the people of the village twitched that way. It went around and around, and all the people of the village went around and around. Uncle Agloo's amazing hooking stick gave one more enormous twitch and pulled Kumak down the fishing hole and into the icy water below. Kumak's family and the villagers didn't give up. Each person held on tight to the person in front of them and never let go. All together, they gave one more mighty pull and whoosh! Kumak came flying out of the fishing hole. Uncle Agloo's amazing hooking stick came flying out with him. Stretched out in one long line all around Kumak and the fishing hole were hundreds of fish. Each fish held on tight to the one in front of it and never let go. Kumak had landed enough fish for the entire village to have a splendid feast. "Hooray for Kumak!" cheered the villagers as they picked up the fish. "Hooray for Uncle Agloo's amazing hooking stick," said Kumak as they started home. It was a good day for fish. All right, kiddos, how did you like that story? Miss Baker and I love that story. Okay, so what you need now, if you don't have it already, you can pause the video, but you need a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay, so on this piece of paper and pencil, not on the pencil, on this piece of paper, what you are going to do is do something called a trifold, okay? And I'm just using a scratch piece of paper. It's actually my son's letter F that he practiced the other day, but you're going to do a trifold, okay? So make sure your paper is this way, not this way, this way, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's almost like a burrito, okay? So you're gonna fold in this side just like this, but you're not gonna pinch that crease yet, not yet, okay? Just fold it in like this. And then you're gonna take that other side and fold it in this, just like that, okay? And I did not pinch anything together yet. So you have something that looks like this, okay? It's your burrito. Once you have your burrito, now you can pinch it down and pinch this side, all the way to the top. So now you have this, all right? So it's a trifold. It's called a trifold because tri means 3. So we folded it into 3 pieces, okay? So once you are here, now you're just gonna have it like this and then fold it in half, okay? I'll show you that again. It's here. Now just take the top down to the bottom and fold it and then pinch, okay? Just like that, all right? If yours doesn't look like this, then you did it wrong. So go back and try it out again, okay? Now what you're going to do is open it up. Now you should have 6 pieces, 6 boxes, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I want you to draw those lines with your pencil. Trace those lines with your pencil. Let me grab my pencil. I'm going to draw that middle line all the way down and then the 2 lines across. So you're just creating an outline of those 6 boxes. Okay? Now we're going to label our 6 boxes with our literary elements. Do you guys remember what those were? First, we have character. So I want you to write character at the top of this box here. Let me show you what that's going to look like. Characters, okay? Just like this, characters. And I know it's backwards for you guys. Sorry. Characters. And then in the box next to it, you're going to write setting. Setting. Okay, and this is when and where the story takes place. Setting. Okay, now in the 4 boxes below, you're going to write first, next, so first, next, then, and last. Just like this. Okay? So I wanted to show you what it looks like on paper. Now I'm going to go to the whiteboard so you guys can clearly see what we're going to do on this through the video. All right, kiddos, I moved to my whiteboard and I have created what your piece of paper looks like just on the whiteboard. So again, I have my 6 boxes right here, and then I have characters, setting, first, next, then, and last. All right? So who were our characters in this story? Do you guys remember? We had Kumak. And you guys are writing this with me, okay? So we had Kumak. Who else did we have? His wife. Then his wife's mom. And his kids. Anybody else we should mention? We could say the villagers in the story. Okay, notice the story didn't tell us their names, right? We don't know Kumak's wife's name, his mom's name, or his kid's name. We don't know. So that's why we just put wife, wife's mom, and kids. We could say 2 sons and a daughter, but we can just leave it at kids. Okay, what was our setting of the story? Where was this? Did it ever tell us a town or a city or a state or a country? No, so we're just gonna leave it vague. We know that it was in an icy place, right? Or a place that it snows. So we could say icy place. And when did this story take place? Again, it wasn't specific. It didn't say on Monday, October 24th at 3 p.m. It didn't say that in the story. We do know that it happened from morning till night, right? Because in the beginning of the story, it said when they woke up. And then at the end of the story, it said they were getting ready to go home for the day, which means it was the end of the day. So we're gonna say morning to night. All right, that's our setting. Now, this you have a choice. You can write sentences in here if you want, or you can draw a picture, or you can do both, okay? You could write a sentence about what happened first, or you could draw a picture about what happened first, or you can do both. All right, so what happened first in this story? Remember the first picture of the story was when Kumak and his family were all looking out the window, and then they got ready for the day. They put on all their stuff. So we have Kumak's family got ready to fish. Okay, and then maybe you have, I'm just gonna do a quick picture. Those are the 3 adults. And then I think there were 3 kids in the story. And we could just have them, maybe the dad has the fishing hook in his hand. Maybe something like that. Just a simple picture. Okay, what happens next in the story? Do you guys remember? If not, go back in the video and you can see. Because if we were in the class, I would tell you to go back in the book. Next, his family started catching fish, right? His family started catching fish. So we'll draw, here's the water. And then you're holding the fishing pole. And then it's in the water, and then maybe they have a bucket of fish over here. Something simple, right? Okay. We never want to spend too much time on these pictures. It's just to give us an idea of what happened. Okay, so we can clearly tell that somebody has caught a fish here. Okay. Then what happened? Kumak started to catch all those fish, right? They thought it was just one big giant fish. So Kumak caught a fish. And I'm going to draw Kumak, his hole. And he hasn't pulled it out yet, so that fishing hook is still in there. And we're gonna say that he's thinking that it's a huge fish, right? And then last, we could say that the whole village came to help, and they pulled out hundreds of fish. So, whole village came to help, and they pulled out hundreds of fish. Okay, so I'm just going to draw here, like here's all the village people. There's so many village people. Okay, quick picture, you can tell that's just a lot of people. And then I'm gonna draw a lot of fish. I don't even think these are looking like fish anymore, but you guys get the point. All right. So these are called literary elements. When we take a story and we break it up into its characters, its setting, the plot, The plot is the events that happens in the story. And we use words like first, next, then, and last to help us. Some people might say first, second, third, fourth. You could say first, then, next, lastly, or finally. But in third grade, we typically use first, next, then, and last. Okay? So your job is to complete this, and I did it with you. So you're just copying this. And then as the week goes on, I'm eventually going to stop filling this in for you, and you're going to do it by yourself with a new story. All right, third graders, we'll see you later. Bye.